Man, looking at this footage of the floods, it really is shocking how much water, you know, reached like the residential areas, cars, homes. Like, look at this car right here. Look at the amount of water surrounding these cars. And this is a neighborhood, this is a residential neighborhood. So for the water to get this high, throughout the neighborhood, we're talking like millions of gallons of water here. It's just insane that you know, warnings weren't given to the residents, like to evacuate and stuff. I don't know, man. Like, part of me feels like more could have been done, like more notice could have been given to the people. What do you guys think? Like, do you reckon there's elements of like negligence here? Because, I think the fatality rates now for these floods is over 120 people, which is a lot. Jesus. Look at this. Wow. This is insane. Wow. I mean, unreal.
Over the past several days, the United States has experienced a series of devastating flooding events that have profoundly affected communities from the Southeast to the Midwest. Beginning in early July 2025,
Unreal.
central North Carolina endured intense and sustained rainfall that triggered widespread flooding, infrastructure damage, and tragic loss of life. In some areas, water levels on the Haw River surged to nearly 32 feet, approaching historic highs and submerging entire neighborhoods under torrents of muddy water.
Jeez. I've heard it described as like a once in 100-year flood. Is it really that unique? Because I feel like there's been floods fairly recently as well in America, like that have been almost this level. Oh my God.
Streets were transformed
Oh
into
my
rivers where vehicles
God.
floated or were swept away, and vital infrastructure was crippled. Almost
Jesus.
immediately following, heavy rains and flash floods struck parts of Illinois and Iowa, where rainfall totals of up to 5 inches in a matter of hours inundated city streets, forced water rescues in densely populated neighborhoods, and left thousands without power. These consecutive storm systems have underscored the increasing volatility of weather patterns.
Because how do you get rid of all this water? Do you try and pump it out? Because even with water pumps, there's just so much of it. Where do you put it?
And the vulnerabilities of affected regions.
A flood. Look at this.
Unreal.
On my husband's birthday, and it's a big flood.
Damn, on her husband's birthday.
From July 6th through July 9th, North Carolina bore the brunt of Tropical Storm Chantal's relentless assault. The storm produced extraordinary rainfall totals, with some locations receiving upwards of 10 inches in just a matter of hours. Southern Pines was inundated with nearly 8 inches of rain, prompting the failure of multiple dams and resulting in severe flash flooding that swamped roadways and residential areas.
So it was a dam. So it were dams that burst. What made the dams burst though? Because aren't they built to be resilient? Like, dams shouldn't just burst, should they?
Alamance County faced similar devastation, where communities such as Saxapahaw and Graham were overwhelmed by floodwaters. The town of Chapel Hill experienced widespread inundation, forcing emergency evacuations as rising waters engulfed homes and apartment complexes. In particular, the Camelot Village neighborhood became a critical zone for rescue operations, where floodwaters trapped residents and necessitated immediate intervention. The situation extended beyond Chapel Hill. Orange County reported the displacement of over 60 individuals as floodwaters breached neighborhoods near Lake Michael. Emergency officials issued evacuation orders near Lebanon Road amid growing concerns over dam integrity and potential breaches. Meanwhile, Moore County confronted extensive damage to its infrastructure, with multiple roads washing out and a dam collapse at a local country club, further worsening the flooding impact on nearby communities.
Man. Like, how much money, in terms of property damage has been caused because of these floods? We're probably talking hundreds of millions of dollars. the amount of cars that are probably written off, houses that have, the water's gotten into the foundations. Not good.
Chatham County reported that more than 100 roads were either flooded or impassable due to water damage, isolating residents and hampering emergency response efforts. Water levels on the Haw River surged to nearly 32 feet, nearing the historic high mark set during Hurricane Florence. The scale of
32
flooding
feet.
and infrastructure damage compelled Orange and Moore counties to declare states of emergency. Emergency responders faced formidable obstacles as they conducted water rescues and evacuations, often navigating treacherous, submerged roadways. Tragically, at least 6 fatalities have now been confirmed in North Carolina.
I read that, Elon Musk with the whole Doge thing where he was trying to make cuts and save government money. Apparently, some of the cuts affected the early storm detection department. And, if those cuts weren't made, people would have heard about these the storms and stuff early. I don't know how true that is, but if that's true, that's really bad, isn't it?
These include 2 individuals in Alamance County, 1 in Orange County who was swept away during her commute, and 3 in Chatham County, where rising floodwaters overwhelmed multiple neighborhoods. Additionally, an 83-year-old resident was reported missing and later presumed drowned after being caught in floodwaters.
All right, people, we got severe flash flooding happening here in Orange County, North Carolina. This is the worst flooding I've seen in the Chapel Hill, Carrboro area. Anybody that tries to come out here and drive it tonight, please don't do it. Look at this. There's a waterfall.
Man, it's like a waterfall.
Meteorologists attribute the intensity of these flooding events to an unusual convergence of atmospheric conditions. Tropical storm Chantal tapped into an abundant moisture supply from both the Gulf and the Atlantic Ocean, creating an environment ripe for sustained heavy rainfall.
I see.
The storm's slow progression over North Carolina allowed rain to fall relentlessly, overwhelming the soil's absorption capacity and saturating drainage systems. Experts from the National Weather Service and leading meteorological institutions emphasize that the system's ability to repeatedly draw moisture from
Oh my God, look at this.
distant sources magnified the volume and
What
duration
the
of
hell?
precipitation, a pattern that contributed directly to the widespread flooding. The immediate impact of Chantal was followed by additional rounds of heavy rainfall across central North Carolina in the days that followed. Flash flood warnings were reissued on July 9th and 10th
This is
for Orange,
crazy.
Durham, and adjacent counties, where saturated grounds remained vulnerable. The town of Mabane encountered a severe crisis when its Grand Mabane water treatment plant became submerged under 6 feet of water. This incident forced the implementation of a Stage 5 mandatory water rationing plan, as the community faced the prospect of running out of potable water within 48 hours.
Unreal.
The plant's pump building controls were compromised by flooding, halting treatment operations, and exacerbating the public health risks for residents.
Unbelievable. It's literally like a river. Do you know whether the federal government is going to provide any financial aid, to the people affected by this? Because, ultimately, I know that some people say, oh, they should have home insurance and, maybe that should cover that. But surely the government has to step in here and provide some financial help, don't you think?
As the storm system weakened and moved northward, bringing lingering flood risks and hazardous surf conditions to the mid-Atlantic region, the Midwest simultaneously experienced its own flooding emergency. Beginning July 10th, northern Illinois and parts of Iowa saw heavy rainfall that ranged between 1 and 3 inches over already saturated terrain.
Mm.
Cities like Rockford, Illinois, were hit hard, with swollen rivers, flash floods, and widespread power outages affecting thousands. Local officials issued flash flood warnings and cautioned residents to stay off flooded roadways. Neighborhoods including Rockford Township and Machis Park were significantly impacted, forcing emergency services to conduct water rescues and damage assessments.
Wow, man.
Residents in these Midwestern areas expressed frustration at the recurring nature of such flooding.
Recurring nature. So this happens often then? Maybe not quite as bad as this, but does this happen often in this same region? If that's the case, then, surely the management of these types of floods should be better than what it is,
Time
right?
inhabitants noted that some flood-prone intersections and neighborhoods have faced repeated inundation over the years, with little effective mitigation.
Really?
This latest storm only compounded existing vulnerabilities.
Why aren't the vulnerabilities addressed? Why aren't the people in charge addressing the vulnerabilities?
Damaging homes and infrastructure that remain exposed to future severe weather. Meteorological analysis explains that the Midwest flooding stemmed from the same fundamental causes as the East Coast events: persistent inflows of moisture from the Gulf region combined with slow-moving weather systems. The saturated soils left by previous rainfall were unable to absorb additional precipitation, dramatically increasing surface runoff and elevating the risk of flash
Dude, driving in this much water is risky for the car, man, isn't it? Because if enough water gets into under the hood, the engine could go kaput.
flooding. The National Weather Service issued flood watches for multiple counties across Illinois and Iowa, highlighting the expansive and ongoing nature of this threat.
Jeez.
And then you can't get out because they flooded out.
Horrible.
Ooh, Lord.
Wow, look how
Look.
deep it's getting.
Oh,
It's
look
getting
at him.
deeper.
He's trying to get out.
Oh man, is he trying to get his car out?
Looking
of there?
ahead, experts warn that this pattern of repeated heavy rainfall and flooding is unlikely to abate in the short term. Forecasts predict intermittent showers and thunderstorms to continue through the coming week, keeping communities on high alert. Regions already weakened by recent storms face heightened risk from even modest additional precipitation. Emergency management agencies emphasize the importance of preparedness, urging residents to heed warnings, avoid flooded areas, and plan for possible evacuations.
For sure. I mean, if people aren't listening to the warnings, if people aren't evacuating, then, they can't really blame people for, the effects. Like if they, get, God forbid, caught up in these floods. But at the same time, I get it. You don't want to leave your house. You don't want to abandon, your prized possessions, valuables. I get that. I get it.
Repairing critical infrastructure, such as water treatment plants and roadways, will be essential in the weeks ahead. Recovery efforts are expected to be lengthy and complex as communities confront the compounded damages and strive to rebuild in the face of increasingly extreme weather events. As always, thank you for watching.
Man, so these ones, I just realized these are completely separate to the Texan floods. So there's flooding, or is it the same flood that's just affecting 3 states? Like, what's going on? Like, is this normal for this time of year in Illinois and North Carolina, this amount of flooding? Because this water looks crazy deep. Like, this looks like a river to me. Like, if I saw this video randomly and I saw a boat and some guy with a fishing rod, I'd think he was on some kind of lake or swamp. This is a lot of water. The amount of damage caused by this is going to be crazy. Anybody watching this from Illinois and North Carolina, let me know how you guys are doing. This is a lot, and I feel like the government should be doing everything they can to let people know about these floods as soon as they can. As soon as they know that an area is at risk, they should be letting people know. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoy these videos, please help me out by liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.